Hey guys, this is IrieStarcraft and I'm back to cast another game for you. This will be another 4v4 and this one will be on Toxic Slum. I guess in honor of the upcoming possibility of 4v4 tournaments on Zeek.com, I will be casting a bunch of 4v4s, that and the fact that everybody's sending me them. So 4v4s are exciting. It's just hard to keep up and I needed to take a deep breath and a break after each one. But anyway, I'm going to introduce the players and they will be Tdsjp, the red Protoss, and his teammates will be Shadowkaka, the blue Zerg, and their teammates will be Dan, the teal Terran, and ToPxJiMi, the purple Terran. Their opponents are going to be Ursmart. You're smart. Okay, the green Terran player, and kalatabg, the orange Protoss player, and Archon, the pink Zerg, and MRSUNG, the yellow Zerg. So, two Zergs, a Protoss Terran, which is the accepted ideal race combo for 4v4, versus a Terran Protoss Zerg. So pretty close there, but the things to note in the early game as far as races go is pretty much how many Zergs are on either team. You can kind of tell what is going to be their best strategy, and for the top team that should be an aggressive 10 pool, which is what they're doing, and followed up by Hellions, which is most likely what Ursmart is doing. I'm going to do, as you can see, his late barracks here indicates Hellions, and then it's up to the Protoss player. Oftentimes in a ZZTP matchup, the Protoss player will either follow the Zerglings and Hellions with a 4-gate or with Dark Templars. So that is generally what I see. Sometimes maybe a Blink Stalker, but usually one of those first two. Most often the 4-gate, obviously. It is the standard Protoss opener and pretty much all I can do effectively on Protoss, which just tells you how standard it is. And meanwhile, the bottom team looks like, let's see here, do we have some Zerglings? We have a lot of Zerglings coming from the top team. Meanwhile, Shadowkaka hasn't built much in the way of Zerglings. He's got a ton of drones here, so he's going to be in a lot of trouble early. He has no queen yet to support, and he's going to be using these drones to fight, but there's so many Zerglings from the top team. Shadowkaka, his queen was too late to assist the drones, and he has just lost everything. So, sorry Shadowkaka, but that was not the best strategy that you had going on there, as Shadowkaka is already out of this game. So it's going to be a 4 versus 3, and yeah, there's just no way Shadowkaka can get back, and there's no way anyone else can help him. As you see, Tdsjp walling in with a cannon, which when you're going against a superior number of Zerg players is usually a good play. There's no way that he would have been able to help this base. I mean, all he could have had is like one Zealot by now and a Stalker, and by then, you know, you're just going to end up getting surrounded by the Zerglings. So it's up to the Zerg player at the beginning to be able to defend in that situation. You can't just drone up constantly like Shadowkaka did. You have to get some spine crawlers and some defense, and your queen needs to be out faster than that. So I know that's all obvious for most of you, but I don't know. I'm just calling it as I see it. As you see it, Tdsjp is getting 2 cannons now, which he would likely need, considering this cannon is vulnerable if the Zergs tried to go all in or Baneling Bust or something like that. But now Hellions from Ursmart are going to cause a lot of trouble to Dan's base, as we saw in the last game that I cast. But now Kalata, as supporting with Stalkers, it looks like he will be going for that 4-gate. And the Stalkers are going to pick away here, and Kalata losing a Stalker. Oh, misclick there from Kalata. He will still save the Stalker here. And this Zerglings really with the Hellions support in the back. Here comes the Hellions to start torching up these Marines, but Dan, with so many Marines already, he's actually going to hold on right here. So a nice play there by Dan to stay alive. Just getting as many Marines as he possibly can. He's even throwing down bunkers in the back, thinking that his front was broken. He's got 5 barracks here, trying to produce Marines, but he's supply blocked right now. And a nice concave on the Marines. These Stalkers are way too close up here for Kalata. And I think the left team might need to rethink their strategy here. Meanwhile, top, I haven't been paying much attention to him. He's just now finishing his Infernal Pre-Igniter. If these Hellions come flying out with their Pre-Igniter, that could be very powerful, as here comes top. He needs to be careful not to run into these Stalkers, though. So the next battle we see is positioning is going to be huge if the Stalkers can focus on the Hellions. And meanwhile, we see Tdsjp is going for an early Void Ray, and he actually already has one on the way. He has one already in Mr. Sung's base with a Phoenix. Apologize for that, you guys missing that. I'm paying attention to this over here, and now the Marines are coming out to try and support because TD's base is under siege. And the left team unsure where to engage, and now Ursmart is torching up so many Marines. All the Marines just died, and Dan's base is in huge trouble right now. Meanwhile, it looks like the Hellions from top have come in and torched up all of Kalata's SCVs, so we are going eye for an eye right now. It is time to begin the base race, as Archon and all the Zerglings and the Stalkers are going to easily clean up this base here. Could Dan survive long enough to kill some units? Ursmart will be torching up those SCVs very quickly. Meanwhile, Tdsjp with his Void Rays is just doing work in the back of these bases, leaving one Void Ray down here to make sure Mr. Sung cannot come back in this game. And now the Hellions flying down to this side. I wonder what they're going to be able to do. Not much. These Hellions might as well just start killing buildings, which is exactly what they're doing now. And top now, he's got 9 Hellions to try and defend his front here. And he's just continuing with these Hellions. He's going to need some SCVs up here if he wants to have any chance to hang on. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to hang on. This Kalata leading with the Stalkers here is going to be ripping up these Hellions, though the Stalkers are very clumped up and the Hellions will kill them eventually. And maybe not, as they are pulling back, and this siege tank is going to go down right as it pops. And now top is in a lot of trouble. And there is no mining bases left, however, for the right team, as it looks like I just missed a whole bunch of units getting torched up. I think top caught a whole bunch of Zerglings chilling right there and killed them instantly. And now top is going to be lifting off here and trying to move up into this area, which Dan has already built in this area. Shadowkaka somehow has managed to rebuild his base in this game. And Tdsjp is still alive and kicking. So the trump card right now on the left team, and look at all the minerals that TD has, as he has been so focused on this micro with these Void Rays. He's still, I don't think he's lost a single Void Ray, and he has pretty much destroyed 3 bases here. There's 1 base left against 1 base here, as Ursmart still alive in the top left, and Tdsjp still alive in the bottom. Meanwhile, Dan trying to rebuild, and top is not necessarily out. Did he lose that command center? No, he did not. It is chilling over here, so he could go ahead and land that and sort of mine together there and try and get back in this game. And so if we check the army tab here, okay, for the army tab we can see Mr. Sung has a few Zerglings, and that's all he has. And then top is pretty much relegated now to, does he even have any SCVs? I'm not sure what his supply is on, but anyway, we're going to have a major base race here, and now Kalata is sending some Stalkers up in here. He's got to try and defend against these Void Rays any way he can, as TD is trying to harass Ursmart's base. And it doesn't look like he's going to be able to, though, so he may just go ahead and start finishing off all these other bases to make sure that the rest of the players in the top team cannot rebuild, because right now the bottom team is in a little better shape. They have the rebuildable army, as Dan still has all these barracks down here and is making some Marines off of this income. So eventually Dan will be able to be a factor in this game. However, the top team seems to have a much stronger ground army with the Stalkers, Hellions, and Zerglings that are still remaining. It looks like TD has left 1 Void Ray in here to just harass this base. And I guess I lost where the rest of these Void Rays went. Did they actually die? Did TD lose those Void Rays? I don't think he did. He now has some Stalkers. I think maybe he brought some down here. Okay, there's a couple down here. I think he sent his Void Rays down here to make sure that there was no sneaky command centers down here. I believe that's where those Void Rays went. And now the Void Rays and Stalkers are going to trap some of Ursmart's Hellions. So many of them are dying here, and the Zerglings from Archon trying to run in, but it's too late now. Those Stalkers and Void Rays just killed about half of those Hellions. And that is going to be a big deal. We've got to see Ursmart has got to be building Vikings right now if he wants to have any chance in this game. But he has no starport yet. So he really doesn't have anything to deal with the Void Rays. He's got these Marines. I guess he's working on some more Marines. Okay, Mass Marines, Stim Pack, Infantry upgrade. But with good use of the ledge, as you can see what Tdsjp is doing right here, he may be able to beat these Marines with good micro from the Void Rays, because the Marines don't have very long range here. So you can see those Marines trying to kill ToPxJiMi's command center. He's going to land it down here in the gold area. Meanwhile, though, Archon and Ursmart are aware of that, and they're killing these rocks here to make sure that ToPxJiMi can't get back in this game. So once that goes down, it looks like actually Tdsjp is going to try and defend this base. And with the Void Rays, and now with these Stalkers, he's going to come right in here, and it looks like he could have killed a lot more Hellions than he did. Instead, he ran right up inside of those that army. Maybe he didn't even realize that army was there when he moved up there, but not using the attack move command, and tried to get up inside that army before he started fighting, and seemed like a little bit of a misclick because those units were not firing as much as they maybe could have. But they did force them away from those rocks before they were killed. However, these rocks are open, and now this base is exposed. But at the same time, TD's got a whole bunch of Void Rays inside of Ursmart's base, who's now severely supply blocked as he is killing all of these supply depots. Watch out, Void Rays! Here comes the Marines. Are going to stim right up under the Void Rays, and the Void Rays are all going to die. Oh my God, TD took his eyes off of the Void Rays to worry about these Stalkers down here, and he lost all of them. A great play from Ursmart, stimming up and running underneath those Void Rays. And TD is just kicking himself, realizing that he just lost all of those Void Rays. Instead of trying to fly those back to the middle of the map, I think he should have counted on his ground army at this point being superior than this ground army and just left his Void Rays back here. I mean, he could have just decimated Ursmart's whole base, but Ursmart already in so much trouble as it is, as again the top team just has no income whatsoever. Ursmart, that's all the income he has. Meanwhile, Dan and TD are still sort of in this game, and even Top is somehow has some sort of income. I guess he is mining from where did that command center go? I don't know. But this ground army from the top team, Ursmart is coming down here to try and engage with all he has. This is going to be the major battle, and Tdsjp is, I don't know if he's not paying attention, but he's got one sentry in here. He needs some Guardian Shield if he's going to try and engage this directly. And now he's pinned up in here. He had a chance to come down and join his teammates for this battle. But TD, man, he had the upper hand a couple times this game, and I feel like by just missing a slight opportunities, he's allowing the top team a chance. The problem is that Ursmart needs to expand or move his base or something if he wants any chance here. He now has a couple medevacs that he's loading up. Bring down here. He needs to, some way to heal up this army because he can't make any new army. And I think if Ursmart engages here, that would be bad for him. If this TD is trying to lure him up this ramp, he can split the army on that ramp and try and, as he's trying to allow Shadowkaka to get back into this game again. Apparently lost that base that he rebuilt down there. And now Ursmart is going to, I think, just be content to heal these up and drop off these units. And this there's a Colossi on the field for TD, though. He's got to be careful with it. I did not even notice him going for that Colossi attack. He already has the extended thermal lance as well. And that Colossi is going to be the trump card in this game. It's got to be the trump card in this game because Ursmart still with no Vikings on the way, no income, and he is loading up. I saw him load up some units here. Where is he going with those units that he just loaded up? I missed units going into a medevac. Here they are. Coming around the right side, are these units going to be dropping into this expansion that TD has? Most likely that is what he is going to be doing. Ursmart doing all he can to stay in this game. And TD has been busy sending units down here, or dropping units or dropping probes off, excuse me, with this warp prism. Ursmart is going to be coming right into the back door and kill all of this expansion. Meanwhile, though, TD is going to take this opportunity to press the main of Ursmart. All of these SCVs getting torched up by the Colossus. Ursmart is going to make one last stand, it looks like, with some Marines, Marauders, and SCVs up here, and continue dropping along in the back. And Shadowkaka now is going to be forced to evacuate, as these dropships are still full of units. And here comes the main battle up top, as TD is just roasting up Ursmart's units. His main base is going to be in shambles here in a second. Ursmart quickly dispatching of Shadowkaka's hatchery and going to be moving on to TD's main. And if TD is not careful, we could have ourselves a base race situation. And if it is a base race situation, Ursmart may have an advantage, as he has flying units, and he does have still has 2 starports, but he needs to save these starports if he wants any chance in this game. He needs a Viking on the field to have any chance of coming back in this. But TD, with 4 cannons here, may actually be able to hold this section of buildings, even though he has no income left. If Ursmart is not careful, I don't know if he will be able to break these cannons. So it looks like the top team may just go ahead and GG out. I'm not so sure yet, though, as TD cleaning up, and Dan now back in this game using those barracks down here. Actually didn't really mine out a whole lot here. I wonder how those units died. I think Ursmart may have done a small drop over there to kill those units, as Ursmart flying it. Now he does have his starports lifted off, and look at all the minerals and gas that he has. This game, I don't want to get too excited here, because I don't know, but it's not completely over. Ursmart has this base. Now that Colossi will take care of this, but if he can land these and build some Vikings, oh, now he's in trouble. TD has found the starports. And yeah, Dan with so many Marines on the field, and TD with this ground army, that's got to be game. So it was a valiant effort by Ursmart to try and stay in this game as long as he could. Isn't that weird how Colossi gets stuck on mineral patches? It is really, really strange. As I don't really understand that, but it is quite annoying. And Ursmart leaves, Kalata leaves, MRSUNG leaves the game. And that is going to do it, as ToPxJiMi leaves the game. So I want to thank Tdsjp for sending me this game. It was pretty intense early on, extremely intense. And as it goes with these type of games where everybody ends up killing each other, they sort of drag on at the end. But nice job by TD and company, and Dan getting back in this game. Even though a couple of blunders made by TD maybe could have ended this game a little bit sooner. But anyway, TD sent me this game, so thank you, man. It was a pleasure to cast, very exciting. And that is going to do it for me. This is IrieStarcraft, and peace out.